Okay, the next two chapters, chapter 12 and 13, have to do with dignity and your impact on your residents' or patients' or clients' quality of life. So understanding each resident, we need to know that people have different life experiences. They have different things that are important to them. They think about things differently. We're not all the same. We may have things that make us sad, things that make us happy. We have experiences throughout our life that make up how we react to things. So how residents act in certain situations is affected by their lifetime of experiences. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone is going to like the same things or want to do the same things. So we just all need to learn how to get along. But the best way to know your resident is to ask them. When they're moving into a facility, it's a big lifestyle change for them. It's going to take some time to adapt. And then as they're aging, sometimes they feel like they're useless or they have nothing that they can contribute. We need to encourage them that they still can learn new things, they can still do things that they enjoy to do, and they can still have a good quality of life. So people's basic needs do not change as we age, they just get different priorities. Your Maslow's hierarchy of basic human needs. This is a psychologist who went over these basic human needs that we're all going to have and that we all value differently, but everybody has physical needs. Everybody needs food, water, oxygen, rest, movement. Those physical needs sometimes outweigh our safety needs. Sometimes we may not think about it's much more safe to stay in the bed and wait for someone to come help, but if I need to go to the bathroom, I need to get there immediately. The need to feel safe and free from injury and abuse is everybody's basic human need. We need to make sure that people aren't fearful of their environment, that they feel like they live in a safe and comfortable area. Social needs are important. People need social interaction, recognition, feeling of belonging. Some people are more social than others, but everybody has basic social needs. We're not living independently in our own little world all by ourselves. Status and recognition has to do with respect from others, dignity, and making sure that others don't look poorly upon you. Self-fulfillment is achieving your independence, being all that you can be, doing things for yourself. Some people are more independent than others. Some people, it really harms their opinion of themselves if they're not able to do for themselves everything they used to be able to do. Other needs of the residents are sexual needs. Our sexual needs do not go away as they age either. So people don't lose their need for close physical contact or even their interest in sex just because they've gotten older. If you're living in an assisted living, couples may still live in the same apartment together. Make sure you're knocking and waiting for permission before you enter because they could be having sex. Sexuality involves feelings of masculinity and femininity, but it's also that closeness to other people. Studies show that healthy adults, mostly seniors, can be active sexually into their 80s or 90s. So even in senior living facilities, sometimes it's hard because of no privacy, interference from family, their decreased physical functioning, but you will come across some people who have pumps that may use their pump. Sexual needs as well for men if they're masturbating. They're allowed to do that, just not in a public place. So if you come from one that is doing that in a public area, you need to ask them to go to their private room to do that. Make sure the person has some privacy to meet their needs. Other needs of the residents are spiritual needs. We are not supposed to initiate spiritual conversations with patients or clients, but if they ask you to listen to them, or if they initiate the conversation, you can listen quietly and avoid giving judgment. But spiritual needs are more than just religion. Some people feel security and social fulfillment and spiritual involvement with something that's greater than themselves. You are not allowed to discuss your religious beliefs with the residents, but you can listen to what they have to say. You can also help them with their spiritual needs by taking them to the spiritual events that are happening at the facility at certain times. So if they ask you to take you to a religious service, then you can take them. There is a clergy member who is available, PRN or as needed. He's on call. You can call the clergy if the resident asks you to call the clergy. You can't just assume that they want to talk to the clergy member. So make sure that they're initiating the conversation about religion, and then you're listening, and then you are taking them appropriately when they ask you that they want to attend things for their spiritual comfort. Here it is about notifying the clergy. Get the number for the clergy member. During orientation, you can call the clergy member and tell them that the patient would like a visit. But never impose your own beliefs upon the resident. If you feel comfortable with them and they ask you, you can pray with them. You can also refuse. You need to avoid initiating your religious or political conversations. Okay, stay away from those. Your basic human needs, again, occur over a continuum. The needs change over time, but they are always still the same basic needs. So they don't really change, they just get different priorities. But the basic needs don't really change. We're still going to have them. But it's important for you to make sure that your residents are adjusting to their changing needs accordingly. Aging is not a disease, it's a natural process. We talked about that in the other chapter about the aging process. It's going to happen to everybody. It can't stop, but some people age more gracefully than others. As we grow older, body systems decline. Organs and tissues start functioning as well as they used to. But aging doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be bedridden and sick and can't get out of the bed. People still live active and healthy, fulfilling lives if they are encouraged to continue participating. Some changes are more difficult to deal with. Chronic illnesses sometimes limit people's ability to do what they like to do because now they have physical limitations. People, as they age, they have all of this decrease in their physical functioning. Maybe they're not able to run or walk or do things that they used to enjoy. But then they can find other things that help them with their mental health needs and their spiritual needs more than just their physical needs. All human beings have three common aspects of growing old. The 3 R's of growing old are reality. You're eventually going to realize, I'm getting old. Responsibility. You want to make sure all of your things are in order, that nobody is left with any burden of taking care of your responsibilities. And then your rights. Even as you age, you still have the right to vote. You still have the right to be an active member of society. If they are voting, you cannot fill in the ballot for them. They have to fill in their own ballots. They get absentee ballots that they bubble in themselves. So do not bubble in anybody's ballot, even if they ask you to. Reality, accepting the inevitable, fulfilling your responsibility, planning for the rest of your life, resolving any issues, making sure everything is paid off, making sure you're not leaving any burdens on your children. Exercising your rights means you're continuing to participate fully in your life. Get to know your residents. Moving into the facility may have been a big life change for them. Your interactions influence how they adapt. Spending more time with the new admissions, making sure you're listening to them, encouraging them, letting them have as much control over their own decisions as possible. Activities are important. We can't force people to go to activities, but we can let them know what activities are available. We can discuss with them possible activities that they may enjoy, but we can't just automatically take them to the activity and leave them there. We can't assume that they want to go to an activity or that they may enjoy it. You discuss with them. If they ask you they want to go, then get them there on time. If they're in an activity, do not disrupt them to do something like give them a shower, or if they ask you to take them to the restroom, then you can take them to the restroom. But if you need to do something to them, you can wait till after the activity is over. Residents have the right to plan their own care plan, their own activity schedule. They have the right to refuse to go, and they have the right to participate as long as they know what's going on. There's going to be a calendar in every room and on the wall that tells them what is available. And you can offer them what is available to see if there's something that they may like to come to. You can participate in activities with the residents. Residents love activities. Activities are fun. Even if you have time to do one-on-one activities with the residents, if you're reading a book to them or doing a crossword puzzle with them, showing them how to crochet, any little thing is an activity that's taking up time and giving them a purpose for their day. This is just an example of an activity. They have large activity groups, they have small groups, they have all kinds of church groups that come and they can go to church events, they have coffee and news, they have game shows, they have bingo. It's more than just bingo in these activities. It's more than just arts and crafts. But if people like arts and crafts, they can come to the arts and crafts. They also have certain groups like the Red Hat Society, where women come together and meet and still have active participation with other community members. When they're at an activity, don't disrupt them, but activities get charted. We need to know how many activities they participated in. We need to know if their emotional state was well during the activity, if they were able to socially interact during their activity. What kind of activity do they enjoy doing? And even for the men, sometimes they like doing woodworking or they like doing other things other than just arts and crafts like painting and sewing. But they have things available for them to do. Sometimes the men like to watch sporting events together. They like to read the newspaper. They like to play chess. So there are certain things that everybody can do to participate in activities. So make sure that you are an active part of getting them to their activities on time and helping them realize that there are things that they can do throughout the day. Chapter 13 is more about your role and their quality of life. What is dignity? Dignity is the feeling of self-worth. One of the basic human needs is self-esteem. Feeling like you feel useful, feeling that feeling of self-worth that you can contribute to society still. What can we do to promote the residents' dignity? We already talked about in our beginning procedures, showing respect by knocking, allowing them to have privacy, giving them choices. They get choices about when they want to wake up in the morning. They get choices about when they want to go to sleep in the evenings. They get choices about taking naps. Make sure they have food choices and clothing choices and personal hygiene choices. Don't take away their basic rights of deciding when they have things done for them or when they want things done. Individualize their care. Consider their likes and dislikes. Never pick anything for them. Even if they're blind, you're still going to go in and give them an option. Would you like to wear red or blue today? And see what they would like to wear. Allow the residents to direct and control as much personal care as possible. If they can still brush their own hair, if they can still brush their own teeth, let them do so. Give care in a private, pleasant, and comfortable manner. That's security again, that they don't feel like they're being abused. They don't want to be abused physically, mentally, or emotionally, and definitely not physically. But asking permission before giving them care. Don't force yourself on them or force them to do something if they are not ready to have it done. What can we do to promote more of the dignity about how we present ourselves to them? Is making sure you're calling them by their preferred name. Asking them what they'd like to be called. We don't call people sugar and honey and baby. I know we live in the South, but you have to make sure you're calling them with respectful names. Make sure the residents feel important. They're the reason you have a job. So be sensitive to their emotions. Be sensitive to their belongings. You're not allowed to rearrange their things without them knowing. You're not allowed to wash that dirty doll or that dirty blanket because it may smell like a sentimental person to them. And you don't just pick it up and clean it because you feel like it or you think it needs to be done. You have to ask them because it is their personal, sensitive, personal belongings. Even throwing away trash or throwing away food, make sure they are okay with it and that they're a part of that. You can't rummage through their closets and rearrange things. If they ask you to go get something for them, you can go get it, but you shouldn't be in there without their permission. Always consider their wants, their needs, their rights. Treat them the way they want to be treated. The golden rule, treat your others like you would want yourself to be treated, but treat them the way they prefer to be treated. How we see other people or our perception is influenced on how we treat them. We need to be non-biased towards people. Everybody is different. You're going to find that in any part of society. Not everyone has the same beliefs as you, but you are going to take care of people who don't believe the same things you do, who aren't the same person you are, but you still have to show respect and dignity for that person. Your perception of this resident is going to is affected by your own values, your own cultures. But you still need to get to know these people, know what their values are, know what their cultures are, know how to take care of them confidently according to their beliefs and values. Some people are more touchy-feely than other people. Some people like to be hugged, some people don't. Ask them what their value is or what their culture is for that. Ask them to tell you about their life. They love their remote memory. They're able to tell you what they did in childhood, what they did in early adulthood, what their job was, what their career was. If you can get them engaged in things that are interesting or they were interested in, it helps to improve their quality of life and makes them feel like you really care about them as a person. Customer service is very important. We talked about that early on in another chapter. Again, with the golden rule, treating others like they want to be treated, treating others like you want to be treated. Do all that you can do to solve your residents' problems in a timely manner. Answer your call lights promptly. If you can't get to what they need, let them know you'll go find someone to help or you'll go find the right person to report it to. Okay? Usually it's going to be the nurse, the floor nurse that's directly taking care of them as well. Make sure you're going up the right chain of command. But if you need to let the social worker know something, or if they want to talk to the dietitian, you can go get those people for them. Activities, again, extremely important. Recreational therapy is a very important part of the resident care plan. They have things that are planned, but then if you do extra things for them, go let the activity coordinator know that you read a book to them, that you helped them listen to their music, that you did a one-on-one activity with them so we can chart that interaction as well. They've done lots of studies that show that people need other people. People that interact with other people eat better, sleep better, have a better overall mentality and mentation about themselves as they age. It helps maintain independence. It makes them feel important. It helps them feel like they're actually contributing as a member of society. It helps them feel less isolated, less anxious, less depressed. So just try to encourage people to do things with activities. Don't interrupt them during their activities. Get involved with the activities and have fun yourself doing them. There is a theory called the Eden alternative, which is an approach to care that has 3 basic principles. Every resident has the capacity to grow. That means you can teach an old dog new tricks. Even if they didn't do it in the past, at least if they want to, they can give it a try. They can learn something new. It helps to prevent cognitive decline. Maybe before they didn't do crossword puzzles. You can help them with learning how to do crossword puzzles. Learning a foreign language is a little difficult, but maybe do a craft that they've never done before. Maybe learn how to play the piano. Anything that they would like to learn how to do. They're never too old to learn how to do that. A resident's needs and capabilities must determine how we care for them. So if they're able to do things, then we need to encourage them to do them. If they're capable of dancing or playing the Wii, we could set that up for them. If they want to have an activity that's not on the activity board, we need to let the activity director know so that they can arrange for such an activity to happen. And then care has to be continuous and long-lasting. Care isn't like treatment where it's short-term and it gets rid of a problem. Care is something that happens every day. Treatments are things that are intermittent and brief. Good care is something that's continuous. They know they can count on you. They know they can depend on you. They have a routine. They know that they can do activities with you or that you will help them with that and that you're going to be somebody there that they can depend on to provide good quality care for them. Residents like a home-like atmosphere. We can incorporate animals. Sometimes we bring in pet therapy for them to play with. Some facilities, assisted livings, let them bring their own pets. We can incorporate flowers, help them to water them. They have vegetable gardens that grow outside. If the residents want to do gardening, they can plant flowers outside and plant vegetables and grow things. Include children in activities. We're always including anybody who wants to come and visit. If daycare centers want to come and trick or treat with the residents, or if they want to come and bring them Valentine's Day gifts, any kind of extra activity that you can think of or that you can include or that you can coordinate would be helpful. So if you want to talk with the activity director and get those things in the facility, then help the residents with that. Okay? So the biggest thing is just improving their quality of life. You have to work there. You want happy clients. Make their life more enjoyable, and it will make your job more enjoyable. You have to enjoy what you do, and if it's enjoyable, it's less of a job and more of something that you're going to get benefit from.